Let's talk some sports, baby.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
All right, fellas, we'll roll back into the NFL with a look at the Week 10 slate. There's a few clunkers, but a couple bright spots as well overall. The Bucs they're going to look to rebound after they're beaten out of the hands of the Saints last week against another NFC South opponent in Carolina. The Bills and Cardinals square off, both those teams looking to stay at the front of the playoff race. Seattle faces the Rams in a game that's going to go a long way in settling that division. We get Ravens Patriots and Vikings Bears as your Sunday night and Monday night football games. So, Jay, what stands out to you the most this weekend?
First of all, I really think we got a divided country right now. We can't get around that. But I think something, we can really unite around this one thing. The Dallas Cowboys on a bye week this week, so we can all absolutely celebrate that. We don't have to witness something. We don't have to witness their fifth or sixth string quarterback they're gonna roll out. Anyway, the NFC West, what we believe is the best division of football. They're definitely worth watching this weekend. You get Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams. This is a big one for the Rams. I got questions about them. 4 of their wins are against the NFC East, which is they're so terrible it don't even make sense. But the Rams are 3-0 at home. Seattle's had a little bit of trouble on the road so far, including last week in Buffalo. It's a key game for both teams. And Seattle on defense, Pete Carroll's got to figure something out. Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Carlos Dunlap, there's a lot of guys on that defense where you look and like, how are you this bad? How did you just let Buffalo put up 40 on you? Can we get Josh Allen? Josh Allen went back to the MVP form. He threw up 400 yards, 30 for 38, something ridiculous. That's not good. That's not good, Pete. I'm gonna need a little bit more for you. You can't rely. We can't rely on Russell Wilson every week to just bail you out every single game. Speaking of Josh Allen, though, Josh Allen and Kyler Murray get together this weekend in Arizona. I got a feeling Arizona's going to bounce back and take that one. Kyler Murray's athleticism, I spoke to it a little bit on Friday, or on Tuesday, excuse me. He's electric, and also his ability to throw the football accurately. He's something special to watch. Cliff Kingsbury has that offense moving quite well. DeAndre Hopkins is fitting right in. Larry Fitzgerald still effective in the slot. They do a lot of different things. And defensively, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Vance Joseph is doing some good things over there. You probably thought you'd never hear me say that, but he's doing a good job. He deserves credit for that. And then the last team, it's kind of a last stand for San Francisco, heading down to the Dome to face New Orleans. I think San Francisco's cooked. I think it's just too much to ask. There's too many guys that have went down, too many running backs out of there. No George Kittle, no Nick Bosa. And New Orleans, if we're to believe what we saw on Sunday night, New Orleans is kicking it into high gear. Michael Thomas is in. We know how much that opens up the rest of the offense. So I think we're going to see New Orleans continue to shine. And San Francisco, I think they'll continue to follow by the wayside. The last one I'm looking at, I'm sticking with Miami. Miami is a team worth watching. They get the Chargers this weekend. It's Tua versus Justin Herbert. I think Miami keeps rolling. I do. I think Tua, that was a breakout performance against Arizona last week. He was sharp in every way, made some plays with his legs as well. Very accurate, on time, throwing on the run, doing all these different things. And Brian Flores is coaching his tail off. I think Miami takes it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start off right there. What Jay said. Chargers, Dolphins. Hey, listen, this quarterback class is looking good. Hey, this might, take out Jordan Love that was never ever gonna touch the field anyway. Hey, look, quarterback class looking pretty nice. I'm just saying, these boys looking nice. Listen, Chargers versus Dolphins. Justin Herbert versus Tua. number 5th pick and the number 6 or 7 pick. I forgot which one Herbert was. Listen, this is a game for the future. It's kind of like when we first seen Lamar Jackson play Patrick Mahomes. I know they had a year in between each other, but it was one of them things where, like, this is the future. So this is what intrigued these matchups. Now, don't get me wrong. The Dolphins is, like, in a good place. If they keep playing the way they playing, they'll be in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And the Chargers not far behind them. So that's why I think this game is a good game to use as a measuring stick for the future. Because we know, 2-3 years from now, Brady out of here, Breeze out of here, Rivers out of here, Big Ben might be out of here. So it's time to start looking towards some of these newer guys that's not named Mahomes or Lamar. Then the next game, I'm looking at the Vikings and the Bears. And the reason I'm looking at that game is for a reason that Jay brought up when we was talking about the Titans and the Colts. Listen, here's the thing. I think we might be looking at the emergence of the Vikings because you got Dalvin Cook take care of his business. Kirk Cousins, it ain't like he got to come and give you an elite performance. He just got to come and give you an average performance. And the offense will, I think, be okay to win the game.
Manage the game, maybe something like that.
Yeah, just game manage. Little something.
Can you manage to manage the game?
You know what I'm saying? Can you? We bought you a name tag and everything. But it kind of hinges on the Vikings defense, right? Can Zimmer get anything out of this defense? Can we get a couple of stops? If you can get a couple of stops, get an average game. I know I'm asking for a lot. Get an average game from Cousins, and then just let Dalvin Cook and Matson do what they do. I'm like, I don't understand this. The reason I bring that up is I think the Bears is a team that can probably get that off on. I really do. The Bears, most people say that their record is a mirage. I agree with most people. I'm not going to lie. And I think the Vikings can come through, implement a game plan, and beat the Bears and start building on that momentum. Did I say momentum? Speaking of momentum, I want to go ahead to this Buffalo Bills versus Arizona Cardinals. I think Buffalo might be having – they got a little momentum. Listen, for what it's worth, I know Seattle ain't played defense since Super Bowl or whatever, but here's the deal. They still Seattle. They still got Russell Wilson. They still got Pete Carroll, and they still one of the teams that's favored in the NFC. And then the Bills went over there and housed them. They got to build some confidence somewhere. Josh Allen, offensive line, Sean McDermott, something. Somebody had to be like, we could play. We could play some heavy hitters. We'll see how far that translation go, how far that confidence go. And then Arizona, we just talked about it. Listen, Lamar Jackson is no longer the most electrifying player anymore. We're talking about Kyler Murray now. Kyler Murray, them little legs get to going. Ain't nothing you can really do about it. It's like, a short dude at the back of a hike. You know what I'm saying? He moving. Them things are getting to going. But listen, the Cardinals are very electrifying. I like Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, which we're gonna bring him up a little later in the show. And then you got the coach Cliff Kingsbury that looks like he's fresh out of college his damn self. So you wrap all that together. Arizona they start to get a little bit like much watch TV here a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm with Jay when you talk about the electrifying, just box office nature of Kyler Murray right now. Like, I see why he was like Mr. Texas for 3 years in a row. Like, this dude, little feet be getting it. And then the last game I want to talk about is a divisional matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Jay rolled that out pretty good. But here's the deal. This is how I'm looking at it. Hey, Russell, you my boy. I'm messing with you. I was on that bandwagon for MVP. Then you went around here and lay a ham sandwich out there against Buffalo. You can't let the Rams come win this game, man. I don't care how bad the defense playing. I don't give a rat's ass how bad the defense playing. You got to win this game. Listen, for what it's worth, DJ Metcalf just came out of nowhere this year. Tyler Lockett, bro, you got some talent. You got some talent. The offensive line ain't the best, but Dwayne Brown ain't letting you die out there on the field. So, you know what I'm saying? you got to make it happen. Russ, if you want to be the MVP, I need to see you pull something like this through because you should be able to beat the Rams. If the Seahawks lose to the Rams, I'm gonna have to go reevaluate my Super Bowl pick for the NFC because that ain't gonna cut it. So yeah, man, Bills versus Cardinals, Seahawks versus Rams, Vikings versus Bears, Chargers versus Dolphins. Those are my 4 games in the NFC slate. I mean, the NFL slate. Sorry.
Yeah, those are definitely by far the best games of the weekend. I'm looking forward to those as well. I really am interested to see if the Rams are going to do something because I think we said like they've won some games, but obviously they weren't beating the top tier opponents. But still it kind of feels like they might be a little surprising. You still got one of the best players in football, Aaron Donald. Can they kind of get a big one? Obviously, they lose that, you're pretty much out of this. And if you beat Seattle, well, hey, you're still in it. Win, lose, or draw. You beat the teams you play, whatever. That's a big one. I think looking at the schedule, though, there's a couple other hits that you guys didn't cover. There's a couple of that have a disaster feel to them. So stay with me just for a second here. Cleveland, coming off a bye week, they just put up another 6-point performance. Another one of their losses. 3 of their losses, they scored 6, 7, and 6. They had 2 weeks, and they got a pretty bad Houston team coming in. They screw around and lose that game. One, now you're completely behind the 8 ball in the NFC North and in the AFC playoff race in general. And that'd be really bad. And I could feel like that Cleveland team, you always feel like that team is just like one bad game away from just falling off a cliff completely with how fragile they seem to be. So, I mean, Houston's not very good. Cleveland should win the game. That's not the argument I'm making. But if they screw around and lose the game, that's a big deal. I'm enthralled to see how many touchdowns Aaron Rodgers can score before we get to see Jordan Love against the Jaguars. I'm thinking it's going to be at least 6 before halftime, but I could be wrong. But I can't believe we didn't talk about a game with massive playoff implications, guys.
Oh, boy.
Philly and New York. This has huge – I'm kidding. But that's another disaster game, right? Because we know if Daniel Jones don't turn the ball over 15 times, I mean, New York could win that game. Which that division.
that game will be close because Philly just play around forever before they it's close in the fourth quarter. Hey, Carson, make a couple plays for us. All right, now we escape with a 2-point win.
Probably what they'll do. But again, if Philly loses that game, that's an absolute disaster. And the third one is Tampa Bay going to Carolina. You just got beat pretty bad. You let that hangover catch you. All of a sudden, that starts looking a little rough. Even at 6-3 or whatever they're sitting at, you start sliding back. The NFC margin of error is not very big, and you're just going to fall further behind the Saints. And the last one I'll give you is Cincinnati's interesting against Pittsburgh. We just saw them kind of sleepwalk through Dallas. Cincinnati's they're a nasty team. When they want to be, they played everyone pretty much to the wire. They knocked off the Titans, and then they got a bye week. I think they've got too many injuries to make a serious case. I know Joe Mixon's out. A couple offensive linemen are questionable. So I don't know if they're going to pull that off. But I think up and down the list, there's some stuff to like this weekend. All in all.